as the Ohio State Buckeyes got bounced early. In those that follow my bracket, you know that I had Ohio State going up against Gonzaga in the finals, so I was out there. And boy, I tell you what, that South bracket, I got torched. Oral Roberts not only beating Ohio State, but then beating Florida as well. Oral Roberts continues to advance. Arkansas, they advanced over a win with Texas Tech, beating Colgate early on. North Texas, the 13 seed, upsets Purdue. Purdue goes down, and Villanova then continues to advance. You've got the Baylor Bears beating Wisconsin. So I did have Baylor and Villanova, with Baylor getting the win to go on and play Ohio State. But now it's Oral Roberts and Arkansas for the right to advance to the Elite Eight. And then you got Loyola Chicago knocking off Illinois. Illinois I had going down to one of my Final Four teams. So both of my Final Four teams in the South and the Midwest are already out of the tournament. Houston has advanced. I told you, though, I'll say this. I just can never, ever, ever rely upon West Virginia and Bob Huggins to do a damn thing. I just can't. They get beat by Syracuse. I thought they'd at least make it to the Sweet 16, but they did not survive the weekend. Syracuse and Jim Boeheim, they advance. So, and then you had a couple of games over on the in the West. I lost the game with Ohio knocking off Virginia. It's something in my head told me don't pick Virginia with what they had to go through, because Virginia was not, because of the COVID protocol coming out of the ACC tournament. They had to go through all of that. Then they had to fly in late. Then they had to get swabbed and tested again and again. Everybody had to be cleared twice. They really didn't get a chance to practice and get ready. So something in my gut told me don't take Virginia, but I did, and Ohio advances. The Bobcats knock them off, and now they face Creighton later today. You've got University of Connecticut getting an advance, or excuse me, not Connecticut, but an uncontested, should I say, game between Oregon and VCU. So Oregon advances there. VCU ends up ending their season because they had the COVID protocol. UCLA beats Michigan State, and they continue to advance after knocking off BYU. And then you got Abilene Christian, a 14 seed. That they're still dancing as well. You've got some Cinderellas floating around out there, as they are going to be taking on UCLA, Mick Cronin's crew, who beat BYU. Texas gets knocked off. So you've got Abilene Christian and UCLA going at it today as well. Maryland still dancing. Michigan still dancing. Iowa's still dancing. Iowa, a 5-point favorite in today's contest. So the tournament itself has been, to say the least, to say it would be exciting, I think would be maybe an understatement. So it's been a hell of a tournament so far. Kinger says, I told you about Loyola Chicago. You know what? I never said that they wouldn't win. I didn't pick them to win, but I thought it wouldn't surprise me if they ended up knocking them off. And then I don't know if you happen to read Pat Forty's stuff, but I'll tell you what he had to say as well, because he has incited many with some of his comments regarding West Virginia and a couple of others. So we'll get into that conversation today. What a good Monday. How'd you survive over the weekend? What a good Monday. I had a tremendous weekend when it comes to just getting out and about. On Friday night, met with friends, was downtown Milwaukee, went to Calderon Club, and then over to San Giorgio. I saw, by the way, I ran into Darvin Ham and PJ Tucker over at Calderon Club on Friday night, and had a really good you talk about a nice guy. PJ Tucker was just such a cool guy. He had his brother with him. Just got into town, started practicing with the Bucks, but had a chance to talk with him a little bit. He was excited to be here. One of the neat things that he had discussed was a legitimate shot, not at just getting into the playoffs, but winning the East. He feels like, hey, he's here. He's got a job to do when it comes to playing defense. He feels he can add some things. I mean, he's excited, and he's excited about playing with Giannis. PJ Tucker is genuinely excited about playing with Giannis, genuinely excited about playing in the Fiserv Forum. So, I was really liking the conversation that I had with him. Darvin Ham, obviously, he feels like him and Coach Budenholzer, they are kind of hitting their stride right now. They get another win over the weekend. They just continue on, and they have won now. What is it? I think 10 of their last 11, 6 straight, and they continue to pour it on. So they're looking good right now. Then you've got now in the West. And the Lakers just lost their first game. You've got LaMelo out. He broke his wrist, and he's done for the season. You still have injuries with Brooklyn, even though Harden has kind of carried that team through the injury phase of all of this. And they get Blake Griffin, who gets his first dunk, and he's all excited about playing with the Brooklyn Nets now and trying to add an additional piece there. So a lot of things going on over in the NBA, but really cool to see PJ Tucker and see those guys downtown and have a chance to chat with them a little bit as they were just kind of having a little bit of dinner. So anyway, big weekend of sports. Big weekend of sports. Brewers continue to rock on. We'll talk more about the Brewers coming up here a little bit later on. But the Badgers, a tough loss. And watching that Badger game, and I know everybody broke it down and you talk about turnovers and this and that, and I agree. But the bottom line was they were trading twos when Baylor was hitting threes. And they just could not get a shot up beyond the arc. Baylor played really good perimeter defense, and they allowed the Badgers to get inside. And the Badgers, when they did have some open looks, didn't hit the shots the way they did against North Carolina. That Carolina game was so much fun to watch, was so exciting to watch. And to see, well, first and foremost, it was a good crowd downtown. Really good crowd out on Friday night. As a matter of fact, I wanted to go to Stenny's, which is really kind of my favorite sports bar, and I couldn't get there. Yeah, I couldn't get there because they were in capacity. They had a line out the door. They couldn't bring anybody else in, which was great to see. So things are starting to maybe materialize again. People are starting to get back out and enjoy themselves as the tournament action got underway. So that was good. And then to watch them light it up against North Carolina, it was so good to see. Now, I thought it's been going great, but I wanted to enjoy the moment thinking, yeah, this is not the team that we've seen down the stretch. This is a team that's got their mojo. Let's see how long it lasts. Baylor's a very tough team, good defensive team too, and they did that. Baylor out beyond the perimeter, didn't let them put up shots, let them on the inside, but every time the Badgers would creep back, Baylor would go down, hit a big three. And Kristen and I were watching a game yesterday, and I said, you know what? They can't keep trading twos for threes. There's no way to come back. And then with about 3 minutes to go, you're looking at the score and you're thinking, this is a 4-possession game. You need 4 scores and 4 stops in 3.5 minutes, and you just got the sense that it wasn't going to happen. They just couldn't get over that hump. They couldn't get it to under 6. Excuse me, into that 2-possession game, and sure enough, the Badgers falter. Now, Greg Gard has stated that he's going to allow his guys some time to make decisions, to see what they want to do. He plans on giving the Wisconsin seniors the ability to say, okay, just take your off season. A lot of questions about the offseason as well. And, when your senior year comes to an end, your career is over. Maybe not. Any senior in college basketball has the opportunity to come back for one more year after just the goofy set of circumstances that we've lived through with COVID being what it is. And for Wisconsin having 6 seniors who do play meaningful minutes means a lot of decisions are going to be made. And during the press conference after Wisconsin's loss to Baylor, Greg Gard mentioned that he does not know what everybody's doing yet. He's going to give him time, and rightfully so. And you know what? Kudos to him. I mean, then you think about the incomers. You think about what you have. If a couple of guys decide to stay and give you that veteran leadership, that veteran ability. I mean, look, if you believe you're not going on to the NBA and you got a shot at playing one more year, would you do it? If you have not graduated, would you do it? So a lot of good stuff there regarding the Wisconsin Badgers. I was excited. I really thought maybe they could go toe-to-toe with Baylor, but when you just started seeing Baylor's philosophical defense was keep them beyond the arc and don't let them put up shots, and then when they do get inside, we're going to trade twos for threes, and that's what they did pretty much all day. So, Badger fans, are you content with the one win? Getting a win over North Carolina? I thought it was a pretty nice win. It was an exciting win, but I'm not happy that they're out of the tournament. By the way, that win never had me fold my arms back and go, well, it's okay. It was a good season. It wasn't. The season did not end the way you'd hoped if you were a Badgers fan. You wanted the Badgers to have a better season because they were expected to have a better season. I mean, as far as expectations go, they fell short. But it was nice to see them rally at the end of the year, which I enjoyed. A lot of numbers. 877-867-1670. 877-867-1670. We're going to talk later on today. Our buddy Tom Oates from the Wisconsin State Journal going to talk with him about the Badgers. Also going to talk with him about the Packers offseason thus far. Still a lot of speculation floating around out there that the Packers still could do a little restructuring of Aaron Rodgers' deal. And also when you get into the offseason about what the plan is moving forward. So we'll talk with him about that. We got a lot to talk about regarding the tournament, obviously, and you got more teams today vying to get to the round of Sweet 16, so we'll keep you up to date there. You got our buddy Ronald over on the live stream. By the way, if you want to follow us on the live stream, as we can do each and every day, go for it. Would love to hear from you. You can follow us on Twitter at Bill_Michaels, at Bill_Michaels. Follow us on Facebook, on the Facebook fan page. That is simply The Bill Michaels Show. The Bill Michaels Show. And then on YouTube and on Twitch, just look for The Bill Michaels, and it's right there. It's right at your fingertips. Please, if you would find it in your heart to subscribe and watch us, that's awesome. I love it. Thank you so much to everybody that has done so. You can shoot us an email, thebillmichaels@gmail.com. That's thebillmichaels@gmail.com. And Ronald says, I'm happy with the way they played down the stretch. I never expected them to even make the tournament. I expected them to make the tournament. I just didn't know what to expect once they got there, the way the season had ended. But I was really glad to see them put up such a good fight and gave Roy Williams his first loss ever in the first round of the NCAA tournament. Think about that. His first loss ever in the first round of the NCAA tournament. So history made by the Wisconsin Badgers when it comes to Roy Williams and the North Carolina Tar Heels. 877-867-1670. I got emails to get to. I got reaction. But give me your thoughts on the tournaments thus far. Give me your thoughts on the Badgers and their early exodus as they make it through the first game. And for all of you that say they were one and done, the explanation over the weekend, nobody wanted to commit to it. One and done means you have played one game and you're done. That's one and done. Not two and done. One and done. It's not one win and then done. And for everybody that predicted a one and done, are you coming back today going, okay, you know what? I was a little bit wrong. 877-867-1670. And if you want to give us a shout, do so. Let's go to Tom. Tom, listening to us in Stillwater, Minnesota. Tom, how you doing today, man? What's going on?
Doing pretty good, Bill. I want to talk a little bit about the Badgers this morning. You mentioned that it's philosophy. And what I'm going to say sounds mean-spirited, but I don't mean it this way. I mean, I've really enjoyed this team. I think these kids played hard. I think they gave us everything they had. But at the end of the day, I mean, it's a talent deficiency. And I don't know if any of our guys would start at Baylor. If you think back to a few years ago when they had Frank and they had Sam, I mean, that was such an outlier, and you gotta have really good players. If you look at Iowa this year and you look at Illinois this year, I mean, the difference is Garza at Iowa and this Cockburn kid at Illinois. And it's just really hard for Greg to bring in that top talent. We're trying to do this with 3-star kids and develop them, and there's nothing wrong with that. I think what they've done has been exceptional. But I think Badger fans need to be realistic about what we can accomplish in the years ahead. I mean, gosh, look at Duke this year, look at Kentucky this year, and they've got top recruits.
Right.
It's really, really hard what Greg Gard's trying to do. So I think we need to be realistic. Again, I think these kids played hard. I really enjoyed their season. I've enjoyed their years. Hopefully a couple come back. But at the end of the day, it's tough to win with, as bad as it sounds, with lesser players. I appreciate your thoughts, Bill.
No, I appreciate it. You don't think a guy like Dimitri Trice would be a starter on one of these teams with his ability? Nate Reavers, Davidson, that, now maybe they would be first rotation in guys. And I agree with you. Look, we have talked about this for quite some time about what level of recruit is coming to Wisconsin and what level of recruit has looked at Wisconsin but has chosen to go in another direction. I mean, that's the other thing. is that it's not like they're not recruiting them. It's that, are you getting them? And if you're not getting them, why? Some of these guys are looking at things like one of them, and they want to go into a place that's going to play up and down style of basketball. They want to be able to shoot the three. They want to be able to get their name out there, and they want to move on. Most of those guys are not coming to Wisconsin. And it's not because Wisconsin is not a quality school. It's because that's not the style of play that Wisconsin has. Maybe, we've seen coaches. You look at a guy like Krzyzewski. Krzyzewski was more of a team-oriented guy for a long, long time, and then started taking the one-and-dones, and then said, okay, look, if I'm going to get that kind of talent, I have to succumb to the thought of this guy's only going to be here a year, rather than building a program around these guys and say that I'm going to have them for at least 3 years. He then started to say, look, I gotta go ahead and start to kind of go with the newer way of thinking, the John Calipari way of thinking. But oddly enough, the two coaches are the coaches that are not in the tournament this year. They're the ones. Now, Krzyzewski, I think, is out of it for a whole different reason. But when you look at the way these guys recruit, they recruit these top athletes who want to come in, play their own game. They are not stars. They are superstars coming out of high school. They want to do their own thing and get the hell out of here. They want to get off to the millions of dollars that they can make going to the NBA, because that's where they feel they're going to shine the most. When in essence, they end up being pretty average players. They make a lot of money. Yes, they're set for life, supposedly. And then they're gone, because they just become names on a wall or on a roster that they fade away. Whereas Wisconsin, they're trying to bring in the middle echelon guys and develop them. And then you ask yourself, okay, how has Greg Gard done as a coach in developing that talent? Last year, it got off to a slow start last year, and then you could see the development. You could see it all come together. And this year, it wasn't about the ability to coach as far as putting guys in position to make plays. It was about guys just hitting the shot. And they just didn't have that pure shooter or two on this team that other teams have. When you look at some of these guys like Boeheim for Syracuse, who just lights from the outside and drops threes like it's no big deal. I mean, some of these guys, they're such smooth shooters. You don't have that right now at Wisconsin. Maybe a couple of the younger guys develop into that, but you just don't have that right now. Let's do this. We're going to step away, take a quick break. More of the Bill Michaels Show coming up next.
Covering Wisconsin sports like a blanket. This is the Michaels Show on the Wisconsin Zone Radio Network.
High fives, Wisconsin.
Well, what's the celebration?
Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin named Near Distributor of the Year.
That's a big deal.
You're not kidding. There's more. The International Builder Show just named Pella new Easy Slide Operator Best Window and Door Product of the Year.
Another Pella innovation that eliminates the repetitive cranking motion on casement and awning windows with an easy slide.
A real for those with hand and wrist issues.
Why crank your windows when you can ease it, right?
But there's still more.
Oh, you mean based on the 2019 Consumer Survey on leading national brands, that Pella is rated #1 for highest value, highest quality.
Yes, but there's still more. Now get 5 years, no interest, plus 5 months, no first payment.
Pella now, pay later. High fives all around.
But only through March 31st. Set your free consultation today at PellaWI.com/radio or 855-PELLA-WI.
Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
Welcome back. Glad to have you. The Bill Michaels Show. We continue on. Welcome to those of you watching on the Bud Light live stream. We certainly appreciate you being here. Hey, a lot of you. It's been great because those that watch the program on the live stream have seen some of the stuff that's on the desk, and some of the stuff is you guys have done some cool things, and a couple of things I'm going to post, or not post, but I'll be putting on the desk tomorrow. I picked some stuff over the weekend. But yeah, really cool. Thanks so much. I got a really cool Raleigh Fingers bobblehead from Marcus. It sent it to me. He said Raleigh Fingers, one of his favorite all-time Brewers, and so I got that. What else did I get? I got the Giannis. Mark said I got to be more of a Bucks fan. I got the Giannis with the bobblehead with flag behind him. He sent that over to me as well. So some cool stuff. I'm going to put it up on the desk and trade some things out. I got the Brett Favre bobblehead here in front of me, and we'll trade some things out. No doubt about it. Good stuff. 877-867-1670. 877-867-1670. If you want to chime in, you can. One of the things, Pat Forty, if you follow him, he's a writer for Sports Illustrated. One of the things that he had stated, and I don't know if you follow him or not, but he wrote in a column on ESPN that something to the effect of, wasn't it basically odd that coaches who were so adverse and didn't want to wear masks are coaches that are now out of the tournament? And I don't know about you, but it seemed to bother a lot of people. And whether you're masked or not, you know, it's as if to say that any coach that just didn't want to wear a mask or kept pulling it down is out of the tournament, because, like, either one, you're rooting against them because that's how staunch a person you are when it comes to the mask wearing. Two, that in some way, shape, or form, if you weren't wearing a mask, God was going to knock you out of the tournament. I mean, Greg Gard pulled his mask down quite a bit throughout the tournament when he needed to convey to his guys strategies or plays or certain things that he needed to tell them. We saw coaches do it all weekend long, but it bothered a lot of people. A lot of people. I mean, I didn't understand, like, take, for example, the sideline reporters who were down in a corner completely away from anybody, well more than 6 feet away from anybody. And yet they're wearing masks. And that piece of plexiglass between the broadcasters when they're standing up there doing their live shot is basically up to about chest. So they're still breathing on one another. I mean, I guess it's the false sense of security or something to that effect for the mere appearance. But, it was just kind of an article. And I like Pat Forty. I really do. I read stuff in Sports Illustrated all the time. But it's like, come on, man. It's the one thing that we really, really, really had a chance to enjoy that we didn't get a chance to enjoy last year was the tournament. You're seeing Cinderella dance. You're seeing these kids go out and play their asses off. You're seeing the emotion again. You're seeing players that win and crowd bases and fan bases reacting jubilantly like we did with Oral Roberts over Florida yesterday. You're seeing guys that leave it all on the court and they're heartbroken in tears of just that. And then this, you got to interject this. It's like that. It's not the time or the place for that. You're seeing parents with all their kids' accomplishments printed on their sweatshirts. And fans and kids dancing in the stands and all of this is starting to come back, and that's the commentary. It was you talk about one of the crappier things over the weekend to happen. That was kind of it. 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. Hopefully you're enjoying the day. And some people are saying they have buffering problems on the stream. I don't know what to tell you. It's perfect here. Coming out. No problem. Everything looks good. It looks good on our end. So we can restart it, but I don't know what that's going to do, to be honest with you. Maybe a few people. It looks like people on Facebook that are having a problem with it. Facebook had a big problem over the weekend. Did anybody else notice? It completely went down on Friday. And oddly enough, it might have been when the tournament started that people were going to social media in heavy droves. It went down on Friday, and we're having trouble with it again today as we're a little while away from the start of the tournament. Many people taking the day off today to watch the second half, which would be the West and the East brackets get underway today in their second round of the tournament. So, and I've noticed that there's been some problems that way, but beyond that, I'm not having a problem here. So, anyway, 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. Mark writes, a good season for the Wisconsin Badgers, but it wasn't the way it was supposed to end. They fell short of expectation, and they got punched in the gut by a better team in round two. Had they gotten a higher seed, who knows what would have happened. Well, that goes back to the regular season. The regular season, the way they kind of stumbled down the stretch, I mean, that's made it relatively obvious that they weren't going to get the high seed. And in addition to that, it gave you a foreshadow into how they would probably go out of the tournament. And that's exactly what happened. Couldn't get shots off, couldn't make threes. They did get inside, and they made some shots on the inside. They fought hard. Look, it's a team that never gave up. And if you're a Badger fan, you're appreciating that. But, playing hard and, wins are two different things at times. And it really comes down to the W's. And if you're, have aspirations to do well, you got to have more W's than you do just playing hard. There aren't any trophies awarded for just playing hard. You can appreciate the play as a fan, but you're still sitting here today with chalk saying, you know what, Baylor's advancing and you're not. Simple as that. 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. We'll restart some things over on the live stream. For those who are having trouble, we'll try to do it again. If you want to chime in, please feel free to go ahead and do so. A lot more of the Bill Michaels Show. It's coming up next.